Hey, Matt here, and welcome to another Mob Street video. Now today I'm out here with my father-in-law, Kenny, and his 2022 TW200. Now the last video that we did, we were showing, what he's done to the bike so far, and we got a lot of questions about this pack rack from All Right. So I bought another set. We're gonna install them on my 2021 TW200 and show you the process. And if you want to pick up one of these, we'll make sure to put the link in the description down below. So let's get to installing.
Okay.
Maybe. There we go. All right.
Okay. That's what they come with.
Okay. We got the two mounts. U-bolt. And those are the rubber straps that go over the top?
Over the top to keep them if you don't want to use a bungee cord. That's what those are for.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Here we go. Step number uno.
So we need to put this up underneath the wires and the clamps. I put this so that the thread side is facing up.
Gotcha.
That goes on just like that. Got two self-locking nuts.
Now you don't have to final tighten these right now.
No,
right?
we'll just put them on just
them
enough to snug them, just to hold them
in place.
in place.
Gotcha. So install difficulty, what would you call this? Out of a, let's say 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, how difficult would this be?
About a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's simple.
Fairly simple.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not hard at all.
Okay.
So I just take them and just snug them enough that
you can still maneuver
you can
them.
still move them.
Okay. So that's our switch housing wiring right under there.
Yeah,
that U-bolt just slides right in between them. Cool.
okay.
All right.
That side. And
This one right behind.
that fits right. You can see it still.
Still move it around if you need to.
There.
On to the next side.
Yep, so we want to slide this little holder there down, and then this will fit. It has just enough room to fit between back behind.
Do you want to go under the wires or over the wires on that one? Because we can, yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Yep, and it'll give you just enough room that you can clear the brake reservoir without
that's
hitting
cool.
that. Yep, then we'll put that just like that.
That's a 7/16 deep socket, right?
Mm-hmm. Cool.
First off, Kenny, explain to us what we're doing here.
Okay, in order to raise them far enough to clear the mirrors, we've got to put a coupler nut in between them, and so we need to have a piece of thread. So we're just going to cut off a couple of bolts to get the threads off of them so that we can extend those up.
So those are 3/8 bolts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just like that.
Just like that. Number 2.
Sweet. All right, so what we got going on?
Okay, so I'm just going to use these lock washers just for kind of spacers. But if you use a lock washer, they're smaller. They're not sticking up so big and hooking on stuff. But I don't really want them to cut in. Don't really need them to be locks because you use a wing nut and you're taking it on and off all the time if you're putting them on and off. So I just take a crescent wrench and just bend them a little, and that takes the bend out, and then they just become a regular flat washer and not a lock. So what I like to do is take them in, screw them down until they hit that bolt,
This top side
and then
here.
back it off a little so that it's not interfering if you want to take these off so that it's not locked down on
Gotcha.
that. Then put one of the washers
Okay.
that we just bent.
And your coupler nut right
Your
there.
coupler nut down on top of it.
Oh yeah, see, look at that. That's pretty much the same diameter as that mount right there.
Yep, when that's soft, I should have put the original side down in. But just down into just where they hit, and then just back them off a little.
Then we put the washer on, and then we put our coupler nut.
There we go.
Sweet.
Okay.
Okay.
And I just snug them, but not
Don't have to
too
crank on
tight
them.
yet. Not yet. We'll tighten them down
When we get
when we get that far.
Okay.
Okay, then we want to put these wing nuts, screw them up as far as they'll go, and just put another one of your washers on. I just put them down to where you got as much thread as you can get and still have your wing nut back off, and then that will give you plenty of room to tighten them down. Same on this side. Then you just back that wing nut, tighten it down, and that puts them in place where they go. They might not be quite straight. You might want them a little ahead so that they clear the mirrors, but they're pretty straight up and down. You can just kind of tell, kind of sight through them from one to the other, and you can kind of get them to where they're both the same. And just go ahead and tighten these down. And then you've got a couple of different options. They come with these little rubber caps that you can put on that protect your threads. Like that, that's what comes with it. You can either use those, or me, I just decided on mine to put some of the little acorn nuts on them instead, just so those threads aren't gonna catch onto anything. I think maybe in time the little rubber ones that they send might kind of deteriorate and fall off. But these also kind of work as a lock nut. See those little notches?
Yeah.
That's so that you know it's left-handed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that way you can just adjust your mirror so that they got enough room to clear. Then just put these where you want them, and then it'll fit right there and gives you just enough clearance that your mirrors can stay where they are. And then it also comes with these. They go down
Over the top of them like that.
or like that, and you can
Kind of
hook
cinch
them
them
like
down.
like that.
So
I don't like them as good as the bungee because
just
they
kind of
can-
flops
they
around a
can
little
flop
bit.
around.
But that's what they come with stock.
Yeah, that's the stock.
That's the stock setup. Now we're gonna walk over to his bike and show you the better than stock setup. Okay, so before we do this though, take note. Again here, the acorn nuts instead of the little rubber covers or that come stock with it. So these again are doubling as a lock nut, and they're keeping those threads nice, and then that way these don't wear out like what those rubber pieces do, and they're not gonna, you know, deteriorate and get all nasty and everything. All right, Kenny, so show us what we got going on here now.
So instead of the little ones that we just showed you, that fit on here, I just took I just got some of this small bungee cord, tighten a knot. I just got a little S hook and bend it tight on one end so that it can't fall off. Put it through here. And then if you put your bungee up through it,
Back loop over itself.
like that, then you don't ever lose it. You don't have it falling off and losing it. Then you can put it wherever it fits the best. And then I just hook it in those. I put those hooks, these little rings, these tie down rings, just put them under the bolts. That way you put them on, and that way it's a lot more secure. You can go on a rough road and it'll stay tight and doesn't bounce around, but yet it's still easy to get them off quick. Before you can put a fishing pole, that way they're up out of the road, but yet you can still see it's in front of you. You can make sure it's not falling off and that it's riding secure. And
You show you're clearing your mirror right here, clearing all your wiring down here, And as you can see, you still got clearance between the butt of your gun here. So one more thing though that you mentioned to me before was, why did you have them mounted so wide apart? Gun reason wise, I mean,
Well,
for a fishing pole, it's probably not as critical, but I mean with this.
yeah, I wanted it as wide as I could get. I didn't want it right here because it's not near as stable. When you're out here, you got a lot more stability. Plus, your guns have always got they've got that spot there where it's low, and that will set in there, and then it's not sliding back and forth. This pulls it down in, and so it holds tight. That way you don't have any movement back and forth. Keeps it sucked down in tight. So the wider you can be on it, the more stable it will be. A rifle scope will fit. If you don't have a real long one, it will fit in between there as well. Like just a standard rifle scope will fit and has enough clearance so you can put that in without it interfering.
So there you go. That's how easy it is to install the pack rack from Allright. I want to thank Kenny for helping me with these. Anything else you want to add to them? You know anything about them?
I've had them on my other bikes. They hold up real good. And if you got little grandkids that like to ride, they love to hang on to them when they're riding. They think that they're helping to steer.
Helping steer the bike.
Yeah, so.
Just takes a little bit of minor adjustment like we showed you on mine over there. So, and then that way, like we said, you can carry your firearm, you can carry a fishing pole, or if you got to go out and do yard work, you can put a shovel across there. I mean, there's all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
I mean, that you can use them for. As always, if there's any questions or comments, make sure to put those down below. Again, if you want to pick these up for your TW, you can find them in the link down below. But remember, they do require a little bit of an extension here so that they can clear the mirrors without really any interference. So.
And they're just a standard coupler nut. You can get them at any hardware store. They just use them to tie all thread together. They're just a standard 3/8 thread. They're easy to find. So
right, we'll call it at that. Again, I want to thank my father-in-law Kenny for coming out and helping me. You know, because he understands this side of the thing a whole lot better than I do. So, but yeah, we'll call it at that. I'm Matt. This is Kenny. This is his 2022 TW200, and this is Mob Street. Thanks for watching.